What's up, you guys? It's your boy Taylor Grant, and I'm here with Bellator Claims Resolution, and I just wanted to make this quick video, hopefully it's quick, about some stuff that we're all kind of concerned about. With the current climate in the world right now, it is super easy to freak out and panic and do stuff that we probably normally wouldn't do. And it's kind of scary, right? Well, I've had so many people reach out to me and ask me about this, so I figured I'd need to make a video. I've been trying to get some data from around the internet, around the world, from people that I know and trust, some good attorneys. And so I want to say this. This is informational only. I'm not an attorney, I'm not an accountant. If you have legal questions, you should ask somebody that can answer those for you that has a law license. I'm not that person. However, I do know policies, and I'm a licensed insurance adjuster as a public insurance adjuster, and I wanted to discuss some stuff with you called business interruption insurance. If you're a property owner, a property manager, a business owner that is renting a property from said property manager or property owner, and you have a disruption in your business due to everything that's going on around the world right now, AKA coronavirus, right? So I'm only going to mention that once because of the filters and everything else that goes on in this world now. I could get my video throttled or deleted just because I said those two words, okay? But what I'm getting to is this, is so many people have reached out to me. I had one of my biggest clients that has a huge list of properties across the country, and the head person called me and she said, hey, what's going on? Like, tell me more about business interruption insurance and how this affects my tenants that are in these buildings, right? So I'm gonna be reading a lot because I got some information that I kind of put together from all around, and I felt that this was the most accurate up to this point, right? These things could totally change. There's still stuff that's developing right now in regards to lawsuits that are being filed to see if this coverage can be opened for people like you that need help because of the mass disruption probably to your cash flow and your income due to the tenants that are in your buildings, or if you're the business owner yourself, and due to the fact that you can't even actually open your doors because the civil authority is telling you no business, especially restaurant owners right now. I think that might turn into pretty much every business for at least 2 weeks or 30 days. I don't know, nobody knows, but that's already happening right now in places like California where they're shelter in place, which is crazy, right? But it is the new normal, hopefully only for a little bit. That's what we're all hoping, because what a mass disruption to our lives and our lifestyles, right? I think we're learning a lot about each other and ourselves, and hopefully you have something in place to help you develop some new skills in this amount of time that you can use after this is over, right? So I'm gonna be reading a little bit of this, okay? Let's see. The current climate right now will likely impact the business on both a direct and indirect basis, right? If your business isn't directly impacted right now, it for sure will be one way or the other soon. It just is the reality of the situation. If the people that are buying your products or the people that are buying your clients' products can't buy them because they don't have any income, that's an indirect loss you're gonna face, okay? So property loss. We anticipate that most property policies will not respond to this event in any meaningful way. However, we expect coverage to be tested given the emerging nature of the risk, such as whether the presence of this human-to-human contagious disease reaches a threshold of direct physical damage of the type insured against, or simply property damage, okay? The reason that's important is direct physical damage. Most all business interruption policies are triggered by direct physical loss. Usually, we'll just use a tornado, for instance. Tornado comes through, rips your building apart, rips your roof off. Your walls might still be there, but you can't actually do business. That is business interruption due to direct physical loss, and that's usually how it's triggered. So it's really interesting how some of these attorneys are trying to figure out, can this be business interruption due to the current things we're dealing with that we can't even see? But does it contaminate the physical location of this property to an extent where it is direct physical damage. To be determined. I can kind of see it both ways, right? Just being completely transparent. I can see it both ways, but I believe the insurance companies have the obligation to do what's right to make their insured whole. Now, the property owner has the responsibility and the obligation and the duty to prove the damage. Okay? So a lot of stuff's going to come out of this, but let's get to the meat of this thing, right? So let's see here. So whether the presence of this thing that we're all talking about is on the surfaces of equipment, the walls, the HVAC units, does that constitute property damage? Now, this is one big thing, and I've seen this a lot on Facebook and other social media platforms where people are saying, oh, I have business interruption insurance, but they're not considering the exclusions. If your policy specifically excludes something, including bacteria or virus, then you might not have the coverage, but each policy differs. And remember what I have said so many times. I know it's boring as hell. Nobody wants to do it, but you have to read your insurance policy. Once the event occurs, it is too late. It is too late to get the proper insurance in place. And if nothing else, I hope some of you take the time to read your policy and make sure you have the right coverage. Maybe not for this, maybe for your home, maybe for hail damage or wind damage or water damage, whatever it might be, fire damage, smoke damage, whatever it might be. I hope you take the minute or 10 or a couple hours depending on your policy. I've looked at policies that are almost 400 pages long, and it takes 5, 6, 7 hours to read those policies, right? However, that's not the point here. The point is, read your policy, make sure you have the right coverage, because if you don't have the right coverage, no matter what you do or say or scream, it doesn't frickin' matter because you don't have the coverage that you need. So if your policy excludes coverage due to bacteria and virus, you're gonna have a really hard time fighting that. Is it impossible? To be determined, but it's gonna be really, really, really difficult, if not impossible, right? So, how policies with specific infectious diseases endorsements extensions providing limited and targeted coverage will respond. With any claim, policy wording and specific triggers driving losses will determine the applicability of coverage. We will advocate on behalf of our clients, absolutely, for the most favorable response available under the applicable policies. Absolutely, we will do that, right? But the thing is, you have to have the applicable policy and favorable language in your policy to make sure you are able to get the coverage. So, BI coverage, business interruption. So BI coverage is business interruption coverage, direct physical loss, okay? The other thing too that we'll talk about is civil authority. Right now, if you are being told by the state or by the country, the feds, right, that you have to close down your business, that is civil authority. Somebody is telling you that you can no longer operate your business due to something else, okay? So right now, BI coverage is normally triggered as a result of direct physical loss or damage insured and occurring during the term of the policy to real and or personal property, okay? That's a starting point when evaluating coverage. Has the insured, you, property manager, property owner, business owner, has the insured sustained direct physical loss damage insured to the insured location, okay? Similar to the above property discussion, specific policy language triggers need to be met for the BI coverage to apply. So again, if you have specific exclusions, you need to be aware of that, okay? We all know that it sucks reading insurance policies, okay? There's going to be a link that I'm going to post that will allow you to submit your insurance policy to us, the professionals. We do this every day, all day, every day, right? We do. And so if you want a professional to review your policy to see what kind of coverage you have and then determine with you how to best move forward, click the link somewhere around here to be able to send us that information, and we'll do a policy review with you. And right now, due to everything that's going on, we are cutting that price in half because we want to help as many people as possible, okay? So The vast majority of claims, indirect loss, the vast majority of claims will be tied to business income loss from indirect exposure. The most notable indirect exposures that will trigger BI losses are civil authority and supply chain disruption. If your property policy extends coverage for either or both, the physical damage or property damage is still a requirement that needs to be met, albeit away from the insured location. However, like other policies, the form coverage varies. So what this is saying is there's indirect losses from indirect causes. So the civil authority is now saying you can no longer operate your business. Do you have that coverage in your policy? Supply chain coverage, right? So somebody in the supply chain, if you're a manufacturer, okay, if somebody in the supply chain can no longer deliver that to you, you no longer have the supplies to make what you actually create. So is there coverage for that? Well, you sure as heck hope so, right? But nobody knows until they actually read the policy. And that's what we do every damn day. So if you want us to read your policy, let us know. Click the link. We'll see what we can do to help you out. So, civil authority. Policies are always specific on what details are required to trigger coverage. The coverage is in place to address BI losses when a civil authority has prohibited access to the insured location. There are normal distance qualifiers, time limits, and always the premise that the civil order is in response to direct physical damage type insured against. Now, one must read the coverage in its entirety to understand how it will respond to the case of a loss. Again, what does your policy require? Do they say for the first 15 days there is no coverage if the civil authority shuts it down? So if we're only experiencing this for 2 weeks, you might not have any coverage. But say we experience this for 3 months, you might have coverage beyond those 15 days. It really depends. All these policies are confusing as shit and are so hard to read. It is even like mind-numbing for me, and I do this every damn day, right? So the thing that I want you to understand, and I'll wrap this up because it's going longer than I expected. However, I feel like this is really good information for you to know. A couple things. You must read your policy. Do you have business interruption coverage? Does it have exclusions? Do you have civil authority coverage? Do you have supply chain coverage? Do you have any other coverage that could apply to this situation that we're all facing currently? You might. You might not. You won't know until you read the policy or have somebody like us read the policy for you and determine the best way to move forward. So if you have a policy that you would like us to review for business interruption, civil authority, supply chain, whatever it might be down the line that may apply to your current situation, let us know, click the link, and we'll do a review with you to make sure you do or you may not have the coverage that you need right now in place, because this could be a huge thing for you if you didn't even think about this, that you might have the business interruption coverage that you need that can keep you afloat for a week, 2 weeks, 30 days, 90 days, nobody knows. But if you have the coverage and you don't use it, what a tragedy. That would be so tragic, but you won't know that you have that coverage until you look and determine that, okay? So, I hope that was informative. I hope that was beneficial. And I really hope that you have the coverage that you need in this moment to make sure your business can operate now and in the future. So let us know how we can help you. Click the link and let's figure this out together. Stay safe, stay healthy, be loved, love one another. We'll talk to you soon.